What's up, boys? Today I'm going to create a character out of the element fire. I'm planning on designing a character to every element and creating a story for them. So let's start! So the first element is fire. I decided to draw a woman for this element, but I may make a male version for every element as well. So first off I need to come up with a character design. So now I'm sketching a quick pose and figure out how I want her to look. As you can see, I'm drawing on paper today with my gouache paints. So I'm also going to explain my process of painting with gouache today. So here you can see that I'm sketching a pose and a face to figure out what personality I want for her. As I'm drawing, I'm going to tell you a bit about her story. So I came up with the story all on my own, so it's probably referenced by other shows, but honestly, who cares? So let's start with the story. Her name is Annie. She's from a fire kingdom. She's the element of fire, yes. The fire kingdom is really strict and the worst out of all the kingdoms. Like, all of the elements have kingdoms and the fire ones is just the worst one. It has made many wars in history and is not pleasant to trade with. Their fire people are known for being aggressive and harsh, but that's not the case. The Fire Kingdom is ruled by a king that is stuck in the old traditions and beliefs which is passed down onto the generations. The fire people are actually quite nice and friendly, but it's not seen from an outside perspective, since they can't talk to each other. Usually, other elements are only able to speak with gods, which is the cause of this stereotype. The kingdom itself is separated from the others. So now to Annie. She's the king's daughter, and even though she's raised by him, she's a lot more friendly and open to her elements. She loves the nature and constantly sneaks out to explore the forest and the world. Of course, her father doesn't like that she's sneaking out. She wants to change her father's mind and tries to show him that it's time to expand and allow the fire people to explore and talk to other elements. Her father, even though he's strict, loves her and wants to protect her at all costs. He's trying to understand her but is still stuck in his old beliefs. He is scared that she will get hurt outside of their kingdom. You see, fire people can't touch others without hurting them, let alone touching objects, since they are obviously made out of fire. That's why they are so far away from nature and others. She has an outside friend that she came across on her adventures while she was sneaking out. His name is Basil. He is from the element of the forest. When they first met, he was scared, since fire people are known for being dangerous. But he saw how in love she is with the forest, exploring and everything. He started talking to her and chose her plants and animals. He saw for himself that fire people aren't that bad, and decides to help her with her father. Annie told him what is happening in the kingdom, which is why Basil is doing his best to help her. They met a bunch of times, talking and getting to know each other. Yet Annie is still sad that she can't hug him. They need to sit a few meters away, since her heat would destroy him. In fact, if she wouldn't wear shoes, you could see a track of burnt grass leading to her. She wants to find a way on how she can make her life better, and for her people as well, so that everyone is able to experience the outside world and see how amazing it is. One day, when she wasn't careful enough, the guards saw where she went. The gods saw that she met with an element other than fire. They told her father, and he was outraged. He wanted to lock Annie inside so she would be safe from getting hurt from her own element. Annie, of course, wasn't that fond of being locked inside, and she tries to find a way to get out. Meanwhile, Basil, of course, told his other friends what was happening. He told them how the fire people weren't really that bad, they just have a bad representation. And that they should try to help Annie since she didn't come back. And he knew that she just wouldn't leave him like that. So now, in the next video is probably going to be Basil trying to save her. I don't know. I made the story up on the fly, so don't be mad that it's kind of awkward. In this picture that I'm drawing, you can see Annie picking up a flower, but the flower starts to burn and turn into dust. At least that's what I tried to make it look like. She's still hopeful and happy since she loves to connect with nature. She's trying to find a way on living without burning everything, and it isn't made out of some kind of metal. So now to my process. As you could already see, I first started with a sketch that I taped with some painter's tape. I started the first layer with watercolors and built up layers with gouache. I hate waiting for them to dry, it always takes ages, especially when it's too cold outside. I never painted yellow skin before. It wasn't that difficult, honestly. It was pretty alright, I think. But right now you can see what I already talked about. I am just starting with a watercolor base, so I have color on the page before I add gouache on top of it. And the thing is, I don't completely cover everything with my gouache paints. I'm just fixing something up, like adding light and shadows and everything. Fun fact, I don't think I ever drew a flower before, like a detailed flower. Of course I had a reference picture, but never in my life did I draw a flower. I hope in the end it looks great. I'm still on the debate of the background, like of course it's abstract, but when I take the purple tape off, it kind of looks weird. I don't know. Now you can see that I'm adding some shadows and some values. My design with Annie is simple. She's nature oriented, so I gave her a brown top and a green skirt, even though you can't see it in the final painting. And because she loves nature so much, I made a sky background with a field, but it's more abstract. It was important for me to have color variation. Annie herself is warm, which is why I made the background with cool colors like blue and green, so that I have a nice contrast between character and the background. Right now I'm drawing the flower, as you can probably see, and the thing is, I decided for a pink flower because I didn't find another reference that I liked. The thing is, with flowers and plants, always use references, don't make it out of your head. Except if you have a fantasy world and whatever your plant is going to be is not existent in the real world, then just do it out of your head. The most time on this drawing I actually spent on the hair, because I kept going over it. I of course tried to make it look like a fire, because she has fire hair, because she's a fire girl. And I tried to make it flow upwards. I have a gradient between red and orange and put a little bit of yellow in there. Her skin is yellow because that's the hottest area of her body. And on the fire, I think you can see where the heat is coming from. It's always like light yellow, which then goes into orange and then into red. So I try to replicate that. And since she's nature oriented, I gave her green eyes to contrast between her red color scheme. So that you have something to look at. And as you can see on the bottom right, I forgot to paint her arm. No, I did it. When I saw that I forgot to paint her arm, I was devastated. Now you can see me painting the green eyes. The thing is, if you paint green eyes, if you really want them to pop in the end, you need to make a yellow highlight on the bottom, so it looks great. You can see it in the end result of this video, where I did that as well. I tried doing my line art with a brush today. It's a small brush and just like a burnt umber as a color. And I don't know if I like it. I did go over it with a black ballpoint pen in the end to make it more my style, you know. I like to have black line art. Yeah, that's basically it. By the way, for the hand, I made a reference picture myself. I took a picture of my own hand and then recreated it. And right now I did the line art too high on the arm, so it looks like she has a really small arm. And the fire on the flower, it's like supposed to look like the flower is burning because she's touching it. But I don't know how to make it look like that. So it just looks like a mess right now. I don't know how to fix it. I tried my best. So that's pretty much it. I actually made a script for this video, so I hope that it sounds better, since I didn't do it for my other videos. Now I'm just taking off the tape, and that's pretty much it. So here's the final result, and tell me what you think of her in the comments. What element would you like to see me paint next?